Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another Historic Brawl gameplay video, and today we are playing Kotis the Fangkeeper from the new Tarkir Dragonstorm. So who is Kotis? Kotis is a 4-mana Sultai commander, costs 1 and then black, green and blue, which are the Sultai colours, and he is a 2-1. Now you might be saying 4-mana 2-1 is pretty bad, and those stat lines are awful. However, his text box is all upside. He is indestructible, which is obviously incredibly powerful, but really powerful for a commander because it just shuts down the most common ways to remove your commander, destruction effects. And then he has a combat damage trigger of when Kotis deals combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of a library where X is the amount of damage dealt, then we may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying the mana cost. That is quite crazy. So his floor is, we deal 2 damage to our opponent with him, we look at the top 2 cards and can play anything that costs 2 or less. Now, being a 4-mana 2-1, even with indestructible, that's not great at getting in. So our deck is built around ways to give him evasion, either with fly, unblockable or trample, and then ways to get him huge. Because if we're hitting for 5, then we're looking at 5 cards, we can play anything that costs 5 or less, which is a huge amount. And then we do also have some synergies around dealing combat damage as well, because we're going to be doing that a lot. So I'd split the deck up into a few sections. The first section is flight. We have ways to give our Kotis flying. One is fly. Quick creature has flying, and when we deal combat damage to a player, we venture into the dungeon. That's great. Wingspan Stride is also from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Charm creature +1/+1 and flying, and we can also return it to our hand. Kite Sail, Cliffhaven Kite Sail. It's a equipment that when it ETBs, we can attach it to a creature we control. Creature has flying. Cartouche of Knowledge. We draw a card, gets +1/+1 and flying. Fey Flight gets +1/+0 and has flying, and it has flash. And when it enters, the enchanted creature gets hexproof to the end of turn. 1 with the wind, 2 mana +2/+2 and flying, so a great body buff as well. And then Cartouche Revan is another new card, a really powerful one, a 3 mana 3/3 flying death touch lifelink, so an even better Vampire Nighthawk. But it also has a new mechanic called Renew. We can pay 3, exile it from our graveyard, play flying counter, a death touch counter, and a lifelink counter on target creature, activate only the sorcery. So if the Revan is in our graveyard, we can give Kotis all of those counters, but flying is the most important one. Lifelink's good as well. Next up, we have ways to make Kotis unblockable, because obviously flying's really good, but there are flying creatures as well. But Aqueous Form just makes creature can't be makes it unblockable, and when we attack, we scry 1. Entity of Enigma is a sorcery, so target creature can't be blocked this turn, but you also draw a card. Manifold Key, we can just pay 3 and tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Ether Tunnel, +1/+0 and can't be blocked. And Crydle of Baldur's Gate. Whenever we attack, target creature can't be blocked this turn, so we can have Crydle on the battlefield before Kotis, play Kotis, attack with Kotis for next turn. We don't have to attack with Crydle, and Kotis become unblockable. But also, if Crydle deals combat damage to a player, that player loses 1 life, mills a card, then we gain a life and scry 1. And finally, we just have some ways to give trample, not a huge amount. We have Audacity, +2/+0 in trample, and when Audacity is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, we draw a card. So a good buff, buffing Kotis up to like a 4/1 with trample. And then Kadama of the West Tree, modified creatures we control have trample, and obviously enchantments and counters modified, and so is equipment for our Kite Sail. And it also has, when a modified creature deals combat damage to a player, we search a library for basic land, put it into battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So a great way just to carry on ramping. Now those are the ways to give Kotis evasion. Next up is the ways to basically make Kotis huge. Zip out the back. Target creature phases out, we also give it +1/+1. I have used this on our opponent Kotis, which worked and caused them a scoop, so bear that in mind. Revitalizer and pass, +1/+1, also gains indestructible, not relevant for Kotis. Also play as a land. Bristly Bill, landfall, put a +1/+1 counter. Innkeeper Talent, we've seen this a lot. Beginning of combat, +1/+1. Also level it up to give all our permanent counters on walled. Roaring Earth, basically the same as Bristly Bill. Hollowmurk Siege is a new card from Tarkir Dragonstorm. When it enters, we choose Sultai or Abzan, and depending on where we are in the game, it's 50-50 what we choose, but I'd say we choose Abzan slightly more. Abzan, whenever we attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. That's great. And it gains Menace till end of turn, so depending on the battlefield, that can essentially make Kotis unblockable. The Sultai mode is whenever a counter is put on a creature we control, draw a card, only triggers once each turn. So if we have an Innkeeper's Talent down and we have a way to give Kotis a flying or unblockable or trample, we may just want to get that draw from the Sultai mode. Bridgeworks Battle gives a creature +2/+2 till end of turn. We can also fight up to fight a creature opponent controls and a land. Tumblewag, very much similar to Innkeeper's Talent, +1/+1 counter at start of combat. And we can also, if we attack with the Tumblewag White saddled, we can also double the counters on a creature. Eutropia is from Theros, so it's Constellation, which basically triggers whenever an enchantment we control enters. We put a +1/+1 guaranteed creature. That creature gains flying to end of turn. All these, combat enchantments are enchantments, so we can trigger that quite a lot. Handana's Climb, we played in Sabsunan, and it's absolutely bonkers. Again, a bit of combat on our turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Then if that creature has 3 or more counters on it, we transform Handana's Climb into Winged Temple of Araska. We can tap it, add 1 of any colour, or we can pay 3, 1, a green and a blue, and tap it. Target creature we can target as flying, and +X/+X, where it's an turn where X is its power, so we can buff Kotis up huge and then give it flying as well. And Repulsive Mutation is a counter spell. It's for green and blue and an X. We put X counters on target creature we control, then counter up to 1 target spell, unless its controller pays mana equal to the greatest power among creatures we control, so we can buff up Kotis and counter our opponent's best thing, basically. Next up, we have some combat damage synergies, because we're going to be hitting with Kotis a lot. So Combat Research gives Kotis +1/+1 and Ward 1 because it's legendary, but it also has basically draw a card when we deal damage. Same with Curiosity, Enduring Curiosity, and Enduring Curiosity also really hard to deal with. Rev, Tithe Extractor. When we attack, target creature gains death touch in return. That can be useful. It can make, maybe our opponent doesn't want to block a small Kotis. And then it says, whenever 1 or more creatures you control do combat damage to player, we acquire a treasure. Then look at the top card of that player's library, exile it face down, so they don't see it. Then we may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. Gonti, Knight Minister, basically exactly the same. But we can spend mana of any colour. I don't think Rev has that. No, Rev doesn't have that, but that's why the treasure helps. And Gonti, Canny Acquisitor, another Gonti, basically does the same thing. We don't create a treasure, but spells we cast that we don't own cost 1 less to cast as well. Not relevant for Kotis because it casts it for free, but obviously if we just hit another, if we have a few of these down, we can hit like 3 things and then also exile cards with Kotis. Next up, we just have Ramp. Kotis isn't particularly expensive, but we are in green, and it is possible to get Kotis out on turn 2, which is quite bonkers. So if we Chrome Mox turn 1 and then Mana Dork turn 1 as well, or Grazer to get down an extra land, then on turn 2 we can play Kotis. So I'm not going to go for these. Blue 10 is really good though because it's 3 colours, and same with Chromatic Lantern just fixes their mana. Next up, removal. Again, we do have Terra Sunder, which is great against the mirror match because this can exile Kotis for 4, and Kotis is quite popular in the queue at the moment, and I've not lost a mirror match yet. Obviously, our other things aren't particularly great because a lot of them are Destroy, Toxic Deluge. If our Kotis is bigger than their Kotis, we can do it so it kills theirs, not ours. But this is also a pretty decent board wipe. But it does kill Kotis, unfortunately, on our side. But Damnation is our board wipe of choice. And obviously we have Counterspell and Mana Drain. And Cyclonic Rift to bounce our entire opponent's board. Next up, we have other good stuff. Sinking the Stupor is also interaction. But Enchant is present. We do have quite a few enchantments, so this can draw extra cards. We have the original Gonti. When it enters, look at the top 4 cards of opponent's library. Exile 1 of them face down. Then put the rest of the bottom of that library in a random order. We may cast that card and pay and mana of any colour type can be spent to cast that spell. And just does say mana of any type, not mana of any colour. Toski can't be countered. Taxi turn stable. Whenever a creature we control does combat damage player, draw a card. Roaming Throne can double up the Kotis triggers. Interestingly, it doesn't have Zombie or Warrior in its default list. We have to type it in. Time Warp, Sabsunan, and Ornate Imitations. It's a really interesting card. Saffron Olive played it recently because there is an old, I don't think it's a format, but it's a card in a weird Magic format called Momir, where I think you can pay X and discard a card, and basically you just summon random creatures with mana value 1 to X. This is the same. So it costs green and a blue and X. So if we say X is 8, for example, we will summon 8 creatures with mana cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is insane, and obviously the more mana we put into it, the more creatures we get. Again, that many creatures with this one card is bonkers. So it's really fun. It is just like, it's fun, but the worst of alchemy, it just warps games. So you know, I think we only played it once. We've only seen it once as well. Mana base, as you'd expect in a 3-color deck. We have a lot more blue and green cards, especially at lower mana values. So we have a lot more islands and forests and a lot more of the dual lands in that colours, but we don't really have a problem with lands. We do have 36 lands and 4 MDFC lands. We want to hit our land drop because while Kotis is hard to remove, it's not impossible. Exile, sacrifice, tap down, threaten effects like gain control of target creature are all good against all commanders, but obviously the only things that can deal with Kotis, and minus X minus 1 can do it as well. So we do want to be able to replay Kotis if we need to. But that's it. It's really fun, playing our opponent's tie deck. It is a bit win more. Like if you're hitting it for 2, you have to be lucky to hit. You can hit an Arcane Signet or something, or I think I've hit an Elvish Mystic. They're great. Hitting it for 5. You're seeing a decent amount of their deck, and you can probably cast most things you hit. But if you're hitting in 5 unblocked every turn, you're going to win a few turns anyway. And chances are your opponent's going to scope when they see that you've stolen 5 of their best cards, or 4 of their best cards in a land. So it's really, really fun. As I said, I have a 100% record again in the mirror match, and a pretty good record overall. So keep an eye on this one. It is very popular in the queue at the moment, depending on what queue the commander is in. So maybe watch the video and try and figure out how to beat it, or give it a go yourself. Let me know down in the comments how you get on. But in the meantime, I'll see you all in the gameplay. Shadowfang will be tough because you can give our creatures plus X minus X. So that is a way to take out Kotis. Well, let's surveil turn 1. Damnation will be good. Arcane Signet. Question is, they do pay Shadowfang straight away. Well, they might be able to kill him. That's Forest Walk as well. So we can't block him. Let's just wipe the board then. That's going to be a problem. Next turn we can Lantern and Cridle. And Bloom Tender. But let's just attack in for now. Bit of a whiff. I would like to draw ways to buff Kotis. That is a way to buff Kotis. We can still Cyclonic Rift. What, overload the Rift, I mean. They may just be able to play out Chatterfang and then sack the squirrel. They only have one black mana, which is Command Tower. I've never seen that card before. Well, Counterspell as well is pretty good. Another whiff. They don't sack a token. Goodbye, board. Obviously, it doesn't bounce their dryers because they count as lands. Yeah, I like that. Do you have any creature spells on a graveyard? No. Let's sack the Signet. They can replay out Chowderfang, but these aren't squirrels. Let's play out the Bruce Gale. Might as well adapt. Make Kotis unblockable. Yeah, we'll bargain it. We'll sack her. We'll take out their Bastion. Don't know why it would still let me adapt. They can probably take out Kotis. Yes, they can most likely definitely take out Kotis, but we can cast Kotis from the graveyard with their Tomb of Actazots. Although they don't have any black mana now. Why would it let me... I don't quite know why it would let me do it. We will choose Sultai for this. Nothing has reach. I don't think. No. We look at 6. Yorgmoth, Twitching Doll, Gala Breeders. I'll keep Roaming Throne. We'll sack Oof. Wait, no. We'll target Chalafang and sack an Oof. We will and sack an Oof. Then let's discard Gonti. Yeah, we want to add one to that. I was going to say, why don't we then we one, 2, 9, 10. So we can do this for 8. And we hit some interesting things. Yeah. Well, I think we're done. Ancient Silver Dragon, Gorin Ceratops, Wolfkin Outcast, Scion of the Swarm, Frenzied Arinx, Mosscoat Goriak, Steward of Solidarity, and Olumbak Escort. Yeah, I don't think they can recast. Wow. I don't think we're dead, but we're not well. Down to 1. I mean, all they need to do is create a token and sack it with the Witch's Oven. That's not what they needed to do, but never mind.
Time to wake up and smell the decay.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. Mice in Brawl, that's what we want to see. I think it's okay though. What's the Vow turn 1? Signet turn 2. We do need a bit of blue mana. So let us get our hedge maze. You know, keep Utopia. And we can Kotis next turn. And if we draw a land, we can Utopia and Cartouche or Ether Tunnel. Unless, of course, they have removal. They did have removal. But they did have to... They did have to basically take their entire turn to do it. There is Mabel. We can get Kotis out again. Let's just take a swamp. Attack required all. Can't be blocked. They lose 1 life and mill, and we gain 1 life and scry. I do like the upgraded Nighthawk. But we will most likely Utopia and then Cartouche of Knowledge. Oh, let's go straight up equipment. Well, let's Utopia. And then let's Cartouche of Knowledge on Kotis. You draw a card. And let's attack in with both. We make Crider unblockable. We see 4 of their cards. We only have 1 Tempest Orc. Don't think we need another land for now. But we can hold up, go for the throat if they decide to equip. I don't want to be surprised if that gives us the scoop. It's section red and green, so we can still remove it. Unless they have... I imagine they have protection. Well, I'm surprised they didn't equip Crag Flame. It's not the end of the world. We do lose the cartouche though. Yeah, our opponent scoops. Next turn we would 3-4 hitting for 4 again and be unblockable, even draw a card, event of the Enigma. We'll draw from Enchantress Present when we play the Tunnel. And yeah, we just look at more cards in their deck. We go first. Well, with a pretty good hand, but we do need more lands and we can't land on our Elves turn 1. We have plenty of ways of making Kotis unblockable. Or giving it evasion. We keep the Wastewood Verge. We will land our Elves. And hopefully next turn Kotis. And depending on what they play out, we can either enter the Enigma to give Kotis unblockable or just slap Curiosity on it. So what I'd like to do is play out the Tumblewag so we can grow Kotis. And let's... we only have 1 blue mana, so we have to basically... swing for 3, see what we can steal from them. We want it into the north. Well, no, we don't have any snowlands, do we? But no matter. They pitched a Fairy and Bristly Bill. Yeah, we will take that. Well, they're going to get a lot of mana. Whether they have anything they can cast with. They'll have 4. 2 from Nissa, One from the land they fetch and one from the treasure. And they got there. They did shock in the Hollow Fountain as well. Suggest they have something. They fetch an oracle. Well, they seek an oracle, or, you know, whatever the term is. They do have another land on top. They can get down on NAF next turn. Well, there's Sabsunan. That's pretty good. Let's crack a treasure. We'll crack this now. Let's just get a forest then. Create another treasure. Sabsunan. Fayflight on Kotis. And then let's Curiosity on Kotis. Hit him for 5 and see 5 deep. We can see a Harrow. Right. We want Felidar Retreat first. Oh, come on. That was a fantastic hit. So, yeah, we want Felidar Retreat first. We need to kick that last. So, basically, I think we go Escape, Uro, Harrow, Set of the Wilds, Felidar Retreat. Retreat comes down first. We, so then get 1 land from Set of the Wilds. 1 land from Uro, because we do have a Dream Root Cascade. 2 lands, so that's 4+1/+1 counters. And then, you know, whatever we hit with Escape to the Wilds. Well, Brood Scout and Talon is some pretty good ramp. In that case, we Forest Elvish Mystic. And then we play out the Swamp.
These banquets are so wasteful.
Well, it's Command Tower. Now, if I Dark Ritual, blue, green, other, 1 black, that leaves... No, I wanted to have up enough for Innkeeper's Talent. A way to give Kotis some kind of evasion. Well, they can transfer Sorin now. Well, let's talent. Play out the Verge. And we'll Tumblewag. Onto the Fangkeeper. Still need a way to give Kotis evasion. We also need to take down Sorin before it can gain control of Kotis.
A fine vintage.
That unfortunately doesn't do it. How do they block? Down to 2. It's going to hold up repulsive mutation. Oh. I need to crack the Fire Strand first. Target creature, target spell. Yeah, our opponent scoops. Obviously, they block the ill core, block Fangkeeper with their ill core, but we still get in for a pretty chunky amount of damage. We can take out Sorin as well. We do have a pretty good record against in the mirror match. I think we keep this because we do have quite a bit of Ramp and Terror Sunder, can take out Kotis. We don't have any ways to give Kotis evasion at the moment. We play out the Halfling. And next time we can play out the Bloom Tender. And we'll just get us a Vow land. Keep Cridle. I think we just kill their commander. If I'm going to leave it in exile then. Elvish Mystic. Helm of the Host. That's going to be dangerous. Don't think we need more lands. Well, we can get down Cridle and we can hold up, slip out the back. No, we can't. Not if I do it like that. That was a really bad play. Kotis can't be blocked. An Arcane Signet. You know what? We can cast Glenna. It does come back stronger, obviously, but yeah, causes our opponent a scoop up against a pretty powerful Ob, but we do have some ramp. Ornate Imitations is great in the late game, and Sabsoon is just absolutely bonkers, even if she's not our commander. So we turn 1 Sanctum, turn 2 Island, Ghost Bile into one of our fetch lands. So we should be able to turn 3 Kotis. That's if our opponent decides they're here. Ornate Imitation is such a... It's one of the reasons why Alchemy is just so stupid. So there is a card in an alternate format called Momir, which lets you pay X and discard a card, and it does the same thing. It creates a creature between the cost of 1 and X. But that's obviously not in Arena, and it's not a regular format. I don't know what format it's in, but Saffron Olive played it a few weeks ago. Played Ornate Imitations. He said he used to love playing Momir. But the problem is being able to get so many creatures from just one card. You know, even if you do X equals 5, getting 5 creatures, but then, you know, we played it another game, X equals 9. It's just insane. Well, I think I'll play it now, because there's no point playing around anything. Holomuk Siege is pretty good as well. Be interesting to see what they do take. Holomuk Siege is probably the most pressing threat for them, but on 8 imitations it's just bonkers. Yeah, so they do take that. Right, let's get out Kotis. Let's just get a swamp. So we do have some double black. And next turn we can hopefully put out the siege. Put a counter on Kotis. Might give it menace. Or if they come down and create a devil, well, there's no point wiping the board for that. Or maybe I'll play out Sabsunan because it is so insane. They only have 1 black mana. Alright, they do Innkeeper's Talent. Oh, that's really, really irritating, but oh, let's just get down the siege. Put it on Abzan. They're going to have more of those threaten effects. Well, we can literally play everything. Non-token creature, and we will heist their library. That's a messed up text box. I think we take the Riders because we could actually theoretically play it. So we can Swift End. Because it is Planeswalker as well. Is their deck just made up of threaten effects? Oh, they're going to get the Faith Light. At least we can block it. Why aren't they playing out? Oh, they are. Let's go and go Last of Our Land.
Families call me their adversary. I lie grunt. Pleasure doing business.
Well, we can just replay out Kotis, can't we? Are we going to have other ways to steal our commander?
By coin
Or carnage?
tribute is owed. Go ahead, plead for mercy.
Yeah, we'll take 2. Oh, come on. You can go there, and you can go there.
My revenge will be cruel and painful.
Oh, I should have done it the other way round. Yeah, that was a... What do we want to get?
You'll suffer for that.
Mana drain. Steal our creatures. We'll steal you all your deck.
My coin
Give me the hedge on sleepy emoji now.
tribute.
Yeah. Steal all our cards. Take that.